But the USA Patriot Act is not where the violations of civil liberties end. The government has taken other measures to ensure the safety of Americans as well, and in doing so, have infringed upon other rights guaranteed by the Constitution. Torture is not included in the USA Patriot Act, but the Bush administration has taken the Geneva Convention and loosely interpreted it to allow torture now, or enhanced interrogation. The Eighth Amendment, which states no cruel and unusual punishments, would conflict with the administration's policy of using coercive interrogation techniques.
All research on torture says that if I pull your fingernails out long enough, you will admit to being involved in 911. So, how reliable is it when I force you to say you were involved when, in fact, all I was doing was pulling your fingernails out?
The government can do whatever they want. They can get away with it because, well, they're the government. If you haven't done anything wrong, they don't know that.
The great downfall of this country is we're built on all these principles, yet they haven't been maintained the way maybe they were meant to be.
I would say the Patriot Act's had zero effect. I'm sure that it's had a lot of effect on, if they wanted to spy on people.
I do mind the Patriot Act. Because they're using the Patriot Act for other reasons. They're using the Patriot Act just to mess with people.
I think it's created more fear than anything else. Reality is, it's so much more likely that you're going to get in a car crash on the way home, or that you're going to die of cancer or anything like that. Much more likely that will happen to you than you being a victim of terrorism. I just think, again, it's all this fear, and the fear is justified to an extent, but some people use it as propaganda, where personal agendas are being masked by this. Well, we're doing this to protect our country.
That was the only time in this administration where people actually liked or sympathized or were behind Bush and the United States, was on the day after 9/11. It's pretty much been established that Dick Cheney and Wolfowitz and Donald Rumsfeld and Scooter Libby started having these meetings that are really the culmination of 25 years of Dick Cheney's obsession with returning power to the presidency, to the White House. Cheney was in Nixon's White House, and he was very upset that Nixon was told what to do by Congress. He truly believes that the president should not be told what to do by anybody in our country. And I guess he forgets there's 3 divisions of power in this country, but be that as it may.
The check and balance is to make sure that no one is going to be, to ward off dictatorships or to check people that want to run away with power, like what the Patriot Act is letting them do.
In 1987, a congressional report about an Iran-Contra scandal claimed, quote, "The chief executive will on occasion feel duty-bound to assert monarchical notions of prerogative that will permit him to exceed the laws," end quote. The leading congressional advocate of this view was a senator from Wyoming by the name of Richard Cheney. Years later, he became vice president.
The Patriot Act probably does more harm than good, only because it does break laws. And it's giving too much power to a government who isn't responsible with a lot of power. These laws, the Constitution and these laws no longer mean anything, at least not to them. And in that slippery slope is where are they going to stop?
Now, tonight, a federal judge in Portland has just ruled that 2 provisions of the Patriot Act are unconstitutional because they permit, quote, the executive branch of government to conduct surveillance and searches of American citizens without satisfying the probable cause requirements of the 4th Amendment.
What do you think the future of the Patriot Act is?
Good question. It'll really be determined by who our next president is and our new cabinet. So that's a big question mark. It really depends on who's going to be taking office at the end of the year.
I think the Patriot Act is a bad idea. I think it's going to cause a lot of problems in the future to America.